I'm Shelly Turner with the Builderall team. In this video, we're going to cover the Cheetah editor and take a look at an overview of how to use the editor to build your website. So the first thing I'm going to do, you can see that I'm in the Cheetah dashboard, and I'm going to choose to create a new website. So I'm going to click Create New Website, and then I need to come up with a title and a description. Once I've got a title and description, I'm going to click Save. And now my new website is put at the end of my list. If I need to change that order, I can go to when it was created and go to time descending, and that will put it first in the order of the websites that I've created. So the next step is to go in to edit the website. So I'm going to click Edit Website. And now I'm into the beginning of editing my website, but I'm not editing yet. First, I have my site overview, and that gives me a list of all the pages that I have inside of my website. And I can also change some website settings that affect the entire website. But what we want to do is go into the editor for every single page. So I'm going to go into this first page, and the only page I have so far is the home page. And I'm going to click Enter Editor. And now we're in the website editor for Cheetah, and I want to show you a couple of areas so you can understand the editor a little bit better. So I'm going to start on the top left-hand side, and in this menu we've got several items. The first one is the Home button, and if you click that, it will take you back to your site list inside of Cheetah. The next icon is a coffee cup, and that is if you want to submit a $2 donation to the developers on the process of developing Cheetah for you. So you can click that to donate to them. Feedback is the next button, and it allows you to submit feedback to the developers. So if you want to give them kudos or mention to them something that needs to be added, you can actually choose to send them some feedback. The next one is Report a Bug. If you find a definite bug in the system, go ahead and click here, and you can report the bug directly to the developers. The next button is the background of the page. If you click this area, it's going to allow you to change the background. And I want you to notice when I click it, the right panel over here changed, and I have the background. If I click background, I can now choose the background color, or I can choose to add an image. So that's where I change either the color of the background or I add a background image to my page. The next one is the desktop icon. This is where I'm editing the desktop version. I can then click the mobile icon, and that will allow me to edit the mobile version of my website. Moving over to the right-hand side of the editor, I've got a couple of buttons there, including Show Ruler. If I click that, it turns on a ruler at the top, and this is what I can use as guidelines to be able to build my website. If I don't want the ruler there, I just click the button again, and it turns it off. The next button is Show Grid Lines. If I click that, it shows grid lines on the left-hand side and right-hand side. That is the major focus area of your website. So everything you build needs to stay inside of that grid line area. If you don't want to see the grid lines, you can turn them off, or if you want to use them, you can turn them back on. The next item is Hidden Elements. If you have items in your website that you don't want to show because it's in the way of you working with another item, you can actually hide it temporarily and then bring it back. You can also choose to hide something from your viewers and then bring it back without having to recreate the element. So anything that you choose to hide, it allows you to hide it from your view and hide it from the visitor's view on the live website. But if you hide it, you can always bring it back. So it's different than deleting the item. It just holds it in a temporary area where it's hidden, and you can bring it back anytime. Why is this valuable? You may create an item that says sale starts Monday, and it's now actually Monday or Tuesday, so you don't want that to show up. You can hide it if you're going to use it again, and then when you're ready to use that element again, you can unhide it, and it will show it back on your website. So if you click Show Hidden Elements, it's going to give you a list of everything that's hidden, and you can choose to put it back onto the page. And then to get rid of that list, you just click Show Hidden Elements again, and it gets rid of the list. The next item is Preview. If you click Preview, it gives you a preview of what your website is looking like so far. And when you're ready to go back and edit again, you just click Back to Editor, and it's ready to go. And then, of course, the most important button is the save button. Remember that save is your friend, and you need to remember to save and save often. The next important area of Cheetah is this right-handed sidebar. You're going to use this a lot in building your website. And the main 3 items that you look at first is add, settings, and personal. Add means you're going to add something to your page. So if you click on add, it allows you to add a panel, an element, or change your font that you want to use for your website. Add panel and add element are probably the 2 areas that you'll go into the most. Now, if you've worked with Pixel Perfect, you know that in Pixel Perfect we built with banners. Banners are very similar to panels. So you're going to build your website using panels. So that's usually going to be the first thing that you click in building your website. So if I go to add and then panels, we've got several different types of panels that are available, including a blank panel. So you can choose to add a blank panel or choose some pre-configured panels. So for example, if I'm looking at the first fold, meaning the top part of my website that will be seen when somebody comes to my website for the first time. If I click first fold, we've got several different examples of first folds, and you can choose any one of those to start your website. So I'm going to go ahead and click just the first one, and all it takes is a single click, and it adds it into my website, and now I can go in and start editing. So you can build your entire website using panels. As you can see, I just clicked the first fold. If I click it again, collapses that area, and then I can click another area. So I might go into blocks and find a good block that matches this item. So here's a good block here. I'll click on it, and just a single click, and it puts it into that area right below the previous panel. So now I've got 2 panels set up. If I wanted to add another panel, I could just collapse the blocks, go to call to action, find a call to action that I liked, and then just click it one time. It's going to add it to the bottom of the page. So if I scroll down, you can see that it's loading right here. And now they're actually ready for me to edit and ready for me to reorganize if I want to. So that's adding a panel. Very easy to do. I can also change the order of the panels. So if I want this one, the second panel, if I want that to be first, I just click on the panel, and I've got a little toolbar right here with some arrows. I can move this panel up or down. I'm going to move it up, and now that panel is at the top, and the previous top panel is now second. So I can reorganize my panels by clicking on the panel and using those up and down arrows to reorganize the order. The next item I'm going to work with after panels is elements. So if I click elements, I can see all the different elements that I can add to my website. So I'm going to go back to panel, and I'm going to create a blank panel down at the bottom. So it says panel created. If I scroll all the way down, I should see a blank panel. And now I'm going to go to elements, and we're going to go ahead and add a few elements here so you can see how it's done. So the first element, super easy, is a box. So I'm going to click box. There's lots of different boxes I can choose from. On this one, instead of clicking once and adding them, you're going to click and drag them to the exact area you want to drop them. And then once you get it into that area, you just let go of your mouse, and it drops it right into that area. And now you've got the ability to edit that item to make it whatever color, whatever size, whatever design that you want to create. And to edit this particular item, I just click on the box, and I get that little menu right there. And now I'm going to right click, and that opens up the next most important area, and that is style. So now I can start changing the style of this box by changing the size. I can set a minimum size. I can set a background. I can change the color, or I can add an image to it. I can change the border, the radius, or the shadow. Also, in working with the settings of this box, I not only can change the style area, but I can work with animation. So I can add animation to my box. And then the next area is advanced. In this area, I can choose to work with the layers of the item, or I can save that element as a personal item in my personal area, and then I can use that item on any website that I want to. This advanced area also becomes important if I start working in the mobile area. So right now I'm working on desktop. If I click on mobile, you can see my mobile version of my website. And all the way down at the bottom, I have my box. And I want you to notice how the advanced area changed. Now I have padding available. So this allows me to create area to the left of the box, area to the right of the box that's padding, meaning empty area. I can also add empty area on the top and empty area at the bottom. So effectively, this is going to give me the opportunity to resize this box, and the resizing of this box will not affect my desktop version. So if you're working with your mobile version and you want to resize something, then you need to go to the advanced area to be able to make changes to it without affecting your desktop. Now let's go back to our desktop view. And I want you to notice that I've got my box here, and I'm going to resize it. So I'm going to right click it. I'm going to go to size, and I'm going to go ahead and make it a little bit wider and a little bit taller. And I'm going to center it by using this little icon right here. And now it's centered. And now I'm going to take a look at it in mobile and change the mobile as well. So I'm going to click the mobile view, scroll all the way down to my box. And if you notice, my box did not change in mobile view. So to get it the way I want it, I need to click on it and then right click to go to the style. And then I'm going to go to advanced. And here I can change how much space I have on the right hand side, the left hand side, the top, and the bottom. So it gives me a lot of spacing opportunities. And then if I go to style on this one, the minimum size, I can make it a specific height. So now I can change that size inside of the mobile version. And then when I go back to desktop, it should not have changed the desktop at all. So let's take a look. I'm going to click on desktop, and there is our desktop version that did not change. So remember, it's really important to really pay attention to mobile version and the menus that are available. And to manage the mobile version, you can go into the advanced area. Also remember that we have the ability to stack things and group things inside of Cheetah. So if I have this box here, I can put an element inside that box. If I go to add, and then I go to element, so I'm going to add another element. And this time, instead of a box, I'm going to add a button. I'm going to click and drag it onto this panel. And when I click and drag it over and drop it, it's there. But now I'm going to click and drag it over the box. And when I click and drag it over the box and then drop it, it is now attached to that box. So if I drag that box, the button's going to go with it. So you still have the ability to add things inside of boxes and group things so that you can move them all together. Remember that you also have a lot of power over font. So let's go back to add and element, and we'll collapse the button and we'll go to text. And I'm just going to add an H1 text here, and we'll add it right here. So this is example text. I'm going to stretch it out a little bit. There we go. And what happens if I want to change that text and I want to make it standard across the entire website? To do that, I'm going to go to font. Remember, this is an H1, so this is my H1 area. And here I can choose to change the size of the font. And when I do, that's going to affect every single H1 everywhere on the website. So I can change the font family. I can change the font size. I can change the font size, what it's going to look like on mobile. And I can change the line height as well to make it more space in between the lines. But we'll make that smaller. There we go. And here the normal size for line height is 1. There we go. So that's an acceptable distance between the separate lines if you have more than one line of text. So that's where you're going to affect the entire website and every single text item that's in H1. But what happens if you just want to affect this area and not every area of the website? To do that, you're going to double click on the text. And when you do, it brings up a dynamic toolbar. And here you can start changing your text just for this element. So I can change right here the font style, the font size. I can also change bold, italic, underline, strike through. I can change the color, the background. I can right justify, left justify, center. I can even do bullets and numbers and do some indentions. I also have the ability to highlight text and add a link as well. And then also we can add some text shadow. The most important thing about this box is once you're done, you need to make sure that you click Save, and that will allow you to exit that element and work in a different element. So those are the major areas of what you're going to do to edit your website. And let me add that the most important area you're going to use is Add, and then either Panel or Element. And then once you add your panel or once you add your element, then you're going to right click on whatever that item is, and that will take you to the settings. And under settings, you're going to have style, animation, and advanced settings to help you work with the mobile version. And then also you have the personal area. The personal area is designed to allow you to save either a panel or an element, and that way you can use it on any website that you want to, any page that you want to. So if you like the design of this box, I could click on this box, then right click it, go to Advanced, and save the element here. Once I save it, it appears in the personal area under either panel or element. Since this is an element, it will appear in the element area. And then I could use that element on any website because it's tied to my Builderall account. This is fabulous if you want to pre-build your headers, pre-build your footers, or pre-build certain panels or elements. So that's a brief overview of the editor inside of the Cheetah Builder. So have fun building something amazing with Cheetah.